Have you ever wondered how World War I shaped the course of technological innovation? As the 20th century dawned, so did an era of conflict that would forever alter the face of warfare. The onset of World War I brought with it an urgent need for technological advancement. It was a time of profound change, where the strategies and tools of centuries past were swiftly becoming outdated. The world was moving away from traditional warfare, with its battlefields lined with soldiers in bright uniforms, towards a more modern, mechanized form of conflict. The first whisperings of this shift could be seen in the muddy fields of Western Europe, where a new invention was making its presence known: the trench. Trenches were not a new concept per se, but their use on such a large scale was a novelty. This simple, yet effective defensive measure transformed the landscape of the war, giving birth to the term trench warfare. Soldiers dug deep into the ground, creating networks of narrow passages that provided protection from the enemy's artillery and machine gun fire. These trenches, often filled with water and muck, became the soldier's home, his fortress, and his prison. They stretched across the Western Front, from the English Channel to the Swiss border, a grim testament to the realities of modern warfare. Yet, the invention of trench warfare was not simply about survival. It was also about innovation. These trenches were not just holes in the ground. They were complex systems, complete with sleeping quarters, command posts, and even hospitals. Engineers had to devise new ways to drain water, install telephone lines, and ensure that supplies could reach the front line. This was the dawn of a new era, an era where necessity gave birth to invention, where the urgency of war spurred technological advancements that would continue to shape our world for decades to come. The invention of trench warfare was just the beginning of a wave of new technologies. From the trenches, the war brought forth the rise of a new kind of firepower. Machine guns, these rapid-firing beasts, were a novelty in the early 20th century. Initially, they were bulky, unreliable, and required a team to operate. However, as the war progressed, so did the technology. The guns became lighter, more reliable, and their rate of fire increased drastically. This evolution turned the tide of many battles, allowing soldiers to mow down advancing enemy troops with deadly efficiency. The machine gun was no longer just a weapon. It was a strategic tool that altered the very manner in which wars were fought. The impact of the machine gun on World War I cannot be overstated. It not only changed the face of combat, but also set the stage for future warfare. The chilling echo of their fire still rings in the annals of military history. The machine gun was a game changer, but the war was far from over. In a war of attrition, mobility was key. Enter the tank. The bloody stalemate of trench warfare demanded a solution, and the tank was humanity's answer. Born of necessity, its invention was a game changer in the theatre of war. The tank, or landship, as it was initially known, was the brainchild of the British. With a need to traverse the no-man's land between trenches, while withstanding gunfire and providing cover for infantry, the tank was like no other vehicle before it. It was a beast of steel, powered by roaring engines and equipped with formidable firepower. The first tanks were unwieldy and unreliable, often breaking down or getting stuck in the treacherous mud of the battlefield. But they were a sight to behold, and a sight to fear. The Mark I, the first tank used in combat, made its debut on the battlefield of Flers-Courcelette in September of 1916. Despite their limitations, these early tanks made a significant impact. They were an intimidating presence that could cross terrain infantry could not, crush barbed wire and withstand enemy fire. As the war progressed, tanks became more sophisticated and reliable. The French introduced the Renault FT, a light tank with a fully rotating turret, setting the standard for future tank design. The British continued to innovate with the Mark IV, a heavier, more robust machine. These behemoths of war didn't just change the face of battles. They changed the entire strategy of warfare. No longer could a line of trenches halt an army's advance. Tanks could breach defenses, leading the way for infantry and turning the tide in several key battles. Their advent also marked a shift in how wars were fought. It was no longer just about manpower. Technology and innovation were now vital components of military strategy. The tank was a symbol of this shift, a testament to human ingenuity in the face of adversity. Tanks revolutionized warfare on land, but what about the skies? The war wasn't just fought on land, but also in the air. Let's take a moment to appreciate the birth of military aviation during the First World War. It began rather modestly, with aircraft used primarily for reconnaissance missions. These eyes in the sky provided valuable information about enemy positions, movements, and strategies. But as the war progressed, so too did the role of aviation. The development of fighter planes completely transformed the way wars were fought. These flying machines were no longer mere observers. They became active participants in the battle, engaging with enemy aircraft and ground targets. The introduction of fighter planes marked a pivotal moment in the war. The sky was now a battlefield, and the stakes were higher than ever. Aircrafts became indispensable tools for warfare, changing the dynamics of combat forever. The skies were no longer a safe haven, and the war was evolving at an unprecedented pace. The Great War left a lasting impact on technology and warfare. This era of innovation and invention, born out of necessity, has shaped the world as we know it today. From the trenches of the Western Front to the skies above no man's land, the technological advancements made during World War I continue to reverberate through time. Firstly, let's consider the machine gun. What was once a weapon of mass destruction, mowing down rows of soldiers, has evolved into a tool used by law enforcement agencies and security firms across the globe. Its influence can be seen in the design of modern firearms, with automatic firing mechanisms becoming standard in today's weaponry. Then, there's the tank, a behemoth of steel and firepower. The concept of an armored vehicle capable of traversing difficult terrain was groundbreaking at the time. Today, tanks remain an integral part of military operations. They've also influenced civilian technology, with their caterpillar tracks inspiring the design of snowmobiles and construction vehicles. Let's not forget military aviation. The fledgling aircraft of World War I, used for reconnaissance and bombing missions, set the stage for the development of modern aviation. Today, planes are an everyday part of life, allowing us to travel vast distances in mere hours. Moreover, drones, the descendants of those early aircraft, are used for everything from package delivery to wildlife conservation. Even seemingly mundane items like wristwatches and steel helmets, both popularized during the war, have become staples of modern life. Wristwatches are now a fashion statement as much as a tool, while steel helmets are used in various industries for safety. The ripples of World War I's technological innovation continue to spread, reaching into every corner of our lives. From the weapons we use to the way we travel to the safety equipment we rely on, these inventions have stood the test of time. World War I, a gruesome period in history, sparked a technological revolution that continues to shape our world today.